Look at this. $8.99 for apple cider vinegar. $12 for a small tin of tallow balm. $6 for a box of herbal tea. $9 for a bar of handmade lye soap. $4 for a container of baking soda cleaning paste. 5 products, $40. Your great-grandmother made all 5 of them. From kitchen scraps, from fat trimmed off the Sunday roast, from herbs growing outside the back door, from wood ash out of the fireplace. She didn't buy them. She didn't need to. And she would not recognize the price tags on the shelves where you buy them today.
Here is what happened. Before the 1950s, most American households produced a significant portion of what they consumed, not because they were self-sufficient idealists, because the supply chain for manufactured goods was limited, expensive, and often simply unavailable in rural areas. Every farmhouse kitchen had a process for apple cider vinegar. Every household that kept livestock rendered its own fat. Every grandmother who kept a kitchen garden dried herbs for winter tea. Every home with a fireplace had a use for wood ash. Then the post-war consumer economy arrived. Packaged goods became cheap. Supermarkets arrived in every town. The convenience of buying what you used to make became irresistible. And in a single generation, roughly between 1950 and 1975, the knowledge of how to produce these things at home was no longer passed down. Not because the method stopped working, because the store was easier. The store is still there, the methods still work, and the price difference between what you pay for the finished product and what it costs to make it yourself is, in some cases, extraordinary.
You already know this is possible. You've seen it. That jar of apple cider vinegar at a farmer's market with the murky, cloudy bottom, the mother, that the vendor says she makes herself from apple scraps every fall. That bar of soap at a craft fair that costs $12 and lasts 3 times longer than anything from the drugstore, made by someone in a home kitchen from lard and lye. The dried chamomile hanging in someone's kitchen that came from their backyard, not a box. These are not lost arts recovered from obscure texts. These are things people in your community are doing right now, quietly, the same way your great-grandmother did them. The only difference is that most people stopped learning how. Today, you will. Here is what the numbers look like. The average American household spends roughly $1,200 per year on cleaning products, personal care items, and packaged beverages, a category that includes vinegar, soap, herbal teas, and skincare. The raw materials to produce the 5 items in this video cost in total between $5 and $15 per batch, depending on what you already have on hand. Apple cores and peels that would otherwise go in the trash, fat trimmed from meat you already bought, herbs from a $3 seed packet, wood ash from a fire you were burning anyway. The $1,200 spent annually on the finished products becomes in each case a fraction of that. Not because the homemade version is inferior. In most of the cases we're about to cover, it is measurably better. Item number 1, apple cider vinegar. Bragg's sells it for $8.99 for 32 ounces. The organic version with the mother runs $12 to $15. Homemade apple cider vinegar is easy to make from apple scraps and costs less than a penny per tablespoon. Here is the process your great-grandmother used, unchanged because it doesn't need to change. Collect apple peels and cores over the course of a week of normal cooking. Any apple preparation, pie, sauce, sliced snacks, generates the scraps you need. Pack them into a clean mason jar, filling it about halfway. Add 1 tablespoon of sugar per cup of apple scraps. Pour non-chlorinated water to cover. Cover the jar with a breathable cloth, a coffee filter works perfectly, and secure with a rubber band. Set in a location around 70 to 75 degrees Fahrenheit, dark if possible. Stir daily for the first 2 weeks to prevent mold and keep the scraps submerged. Around the 2-week point, strain out the solids. Pour the liquid into a clean jar, cover again with breathable cloth, and allow to ferment an additional 2 to 4 weeks. It is complete when it has a strong apple cider vinegar smell and taste. What you end up with is raw, unfiltered apple cider vinegar with the mother, the same product that sells for $12 to $15 at the health food store. From apple scraps that you are going to throw away. Apple cider vinegar has been used for centuries as a digestive aid. A tablespoon in a glass of water can stimulate the production of stomach acids and enzymes, promoting better digestion. It also functions as a surface cleaner, a hair rinse, and a skin toner. 1 ferment, 6 weeks, multiple uses, near zero cost. Item number 2, herbal tea.
A box of 20 chamomile tea bags costs $5 to $7. The same chamomile, dried from your own garden, costs the price of a seed packet, roughly $3, and produces enough tea to last a year or more. Growing tea herbs requires less space than most people think. Chamomile thrives in a 6-inch pot on a sunny windowsill. Peppermint spreads so aggressively in the ground that most gardeners keep it in containers. Lemon balm, echinacea, and lavender grow reliably in almost every zone in the continental United States. The drying process is straightforward. Cut stems in the morning after the dew has dried. Bundle loosely. Hang upside down in a dry, ventilated space. A kitchen corner, a garage, a covered porch. 2 to 3 weeks, depending on humidity, and the herbs are ready. Store in sealed glass jars away from light. To brew, 1 tablespoon of dried herb per cup of boiling water. Steep 5 to 10 minutes. What your great-grandmother had that you can recreate in any home with a window and a few pots is an unlimited supply of medicinal and culinary teas made from plants she grew herself. Chamomile tea has been used for generations as a natural sleep aid, peppermint for digestion, echinacea for immune support, lemon balm for stress and anxiety. A pharmacopoeia in a window box.
3 more. Faster. Tallow and lard. Before vegetable shortening existed, which Crisco introduced in 1911, every American household that kept livestock rendered its own animal fat. Tallow from beef or mutton, lard from pork. These fats served 3 purposes simultaneously. Cooking fat with a high smoke point, better for frying than most vegetable oils. A skin moisturizer and wound treatment that has been used since ancient Egypt, with a fatty acid profile that closely matches human sebum. And a lamp fuel that powered homes before electricity. The rendering process takes 1 afternoon. Fat trimmed from any beef or pork roast. Ask your butcher for suet or leaf lard if you don't generate your own. Cut small, melted slowly in a heavy pot, strained through cheesecloth into glass jars. It solidifies white and clean, stores at room temperature for months, in the refrigerator indefinitely. A small tin of Tallow balm sells for $12 to $20 at natural health stores. You just described how to make it. Baking soda cleaning paste. Before commercial cleaning products, every household used baking soda as its primary abrasive cleaner. Mixed with a small amount of dish soap and a few drops of essential oil, or just used straight, it cleans sinks, tubs, counters, and stovetops as effectively as any product in the cleaning oil. Baking soda also deodorizes, softens laundry, and treats minor skin irritation. As a remedy for heartburn, dissolving half a teaspoon in a glass of water can provide quick relief for acid reflux. A bulk bag of baking soda costs under $5 and replaces 4 or 5 commercial cleaning products that together cost $30 to $40. Lye soap. Traditional lye soap is made from 2 ingredients: wood ash lye, the alkaline liquid produced when water passes through wood ash, and rendered fat. It is the oldest cleaning product in recorded Western history. It is antimicrobial, biodegradable, and produces no synthetic chemical residue. The process requires care. Lye is caustic until the saponification process is complete, but the result is a soap that costs nearly nothing to produce and lasts significantly longer than commercial bars. Your great-grandmother made it from the fireplace and the Sunday roast. Both of those things are still available.
Here is how to begin this week with whatever kitchen you have. The easiest entry point? Apple cider vinegar. Start saving apple scraps today. Any apple you eat this week generates material for your first batch. Set it up Sunday. 6 weeks later, you have your first jar. For herbal tea, order 1 seed packet. Chamomile or peppermint. Both are nearly impossible to kill and grow in any container with sunlight. Plant this weekend. Harvest in 8 to 12 weeks. For tallow, the next time you buy a beef roast or pork shoulder, ask the butcher for extra fat trim. Render it in 1 afternoon. You will have cooking fat and the base for skincare in the same session. For baking soda paste, mix 3 tablespoons of baking soda with 1 tablespoon of dish soap. That's it. Test it on your kitchen sink this weekend. You will not go back to the commercial product. For lye soap, start with the others first. Soap requires the most attention to process. Once you're comfortable with fermentation and rendering, add soap making to the sequence. 1 product a month. By spring, you will have replaced most of what you currently buy.
2 things I know you're thinking. First, isn't this just more work for the same result? No. The time investment for each of these is front-loaded and then minimal. Apple cider vinegar takes 15 minutes of active time spread across 6 weeks. Herbal tea takes one afternoon of harvesting and drying once per season. Tallow rendering is a 2-hour project that produces months of supply. The ongoing time cost, once you have a system, is lower than the time spent shopping for the commercial versions. Second, are these products actually as effective? For cleaning, yes. Baking soda is a documented abrasive cleaner with no synthetic chemicals and no cost difference at scale. For skincare, Tallow's fatty acid profile is documented as closely matching human skin composition. The natural skincare industry is essentially rediscovering this. For digestion and health, apple cider vinegar's effects on blood sugar, digestion, and antimicrobial activity are documented in multiple peer-reviewed studies. Your great-grandmother wasn't a primitive person making do. She was using the best available materials for the job. They're still the best available materials.
The thing about these 5 products that stays with me is how recently we stopped making them. This is not medieval history. Your great-grandmother, if she was born in 1900, she lived until 1970 or 1980. She may have been alive when you were a child. She almost certainly made her own vinegar, rendered her own fat, dried her own herbs, and cleaned her kitchen with baking soda and soap she made herself. The break in this knowledge is not centuries old. It is 2 or 3 generations, which means the people who held it are not gone from living memory. There are people in their 70s and 80s who grew up watching this done in their parents' kitchens. Some of them are watching this video right now. If that's you, drop it in the comments. What did your mother or grandmother make at home that you haven't seen anyone talk about in decades? What process did you watch as a child that nobody does anymore? Because the practical answer to every item on this list starts not with a recipe, but with a memory. Someone remembers how. And the things they remember were not inferior to what replaced them. They were simply less profitable for the companies that replaced them. The apple scraps are still in your kitchen. The herbs are still growing outside. The knowledge is still one conversation or one video away. Take care. I'll see you in the next one.